All right, bodybuilding fans, welcome back. We are live here at, in Bullhead City, Arizona, here at Nutrition One. This is our first ever meet and greet and store podcast. Here, of course, with Dennis the Big Bad Wolf. Dennis, you just got back from a big trip overseas. Why don't you tell us about it? And then we're going to get in. We've got a very special guest and interesting conversation today. So tell us about your trip a little bit.
All right, partner. I've been out of Vegas for 6 weeks. So almost 3 weeks in Germany. I had my show, Venice Full Classic. It went great. Then the FIBO. And, of course, a lot of fishing with my brother. And then I went to Russia, seminar tour. And that was one of my most insane trips ever. Right, so it started with a lot of vodka the first week, and then the second seminar city, we jumped out of the plane with the parachute, 1,200 meters, first time ever, and by myself. So after that, I don't fear any shit. So even before I came back here to US. I did the surgery on my bicep tendon. Even like all the syringes around, anesthesia, everything. I was like, oh, I'm ready for it. So I don't know. It has something to do with my parachute jump or not, but man. I after that I feel like I was born right away again. So it was amazing, and And that day, I did a seminar in the evening, so the seminar went for 4 hours. So I was standing the whole 4 hours, so I think that energized me a lot.
Right. Well, now you got a break, though, right? You're going to have to rest this tendon before you can really start training again on that, right? So you got a little bit of a break.
Yeah, so I didn't train for at least 4 weeks on my tour, and now my doctor told me I have to be careful and not to put a lot of pressure on my bicep for the next 6 weeks, but I make it shorter, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to do what you can, right? But you got legs tomorrow, right? Isn't that what you told me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good deal. All right. Well, let's get into it. First, we want to send a shout out to Juan Elizondo. This is his store. He has 3 here in the area. He has one in Lake Havasu, as well as one in Keyman. And Juan is actually he won the he's one of your clients, and 2,
Absolutely.
He just recently won the Jay Cutler Classic. Is that right?
Yes, he took the overall title at the Jay Cutler Classic in April. No, end of March. So April was my show, and huge shout out to the most probably hardest worker ever. Juan was very disciplined, working hard, pushing himself day by day. And that's when you recognize the champion's mind and goals. So he did it.
Well, I think congratulations to him. And you know what? I've been here one day, and I think Juan owns half of the businesses around here. We're here in his store. He's got a great restaurant. He fed me this afternoon. I got to eat at, has some healthy food in there. The food was excellent. Got to meet the chef. Like I say, he has these other stores, and I think we're going to go eat at another restaurant of his tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. And we do have a special announcement. Juan did want me to mention and kind of announce that he will be getting ready for the Mr. Olympia Amateur with you here in 20 weeks, 16 weeks, where he will be going for his pro card.
No, yeah, we're 16 years old.
Hey, we got a live audience. We can clap that one out.
Yeah.
There they are. All right. So that's great. We'll edit this up and post it in a few days. But congratulations to him. And, he's already in shape now. So he's just got to continue going, right? What do you got in mind for him?
I mean, he's been very professional with his meals. So, yeah, I have nothing to complain about. And I'm sure that's going to be well as the last prep. Just a little bit better because the starting point is different. So he's more massive, he's more rounder, and he's not that fat as
not the fat as he was
as the last time we started.
Time.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing we had to get rid of. Anything else was amazing. I mean, like I said, his work and his discipline brought him there. 100%.
Well, again, we want to thank him for having us out. My other partner and I drove out here from Texas yesterday, and he does have 3 stores, and he's picked up your line of products, Nutrition Wolf. You can get them in all 3 stores now. The product arrived today, last minute. We were sweating it a little bit. We brought some back up, but our big pallet that we shipped him did arrive today. So he's fully stocked. I don't think we've sold out here yet. So, but it's going well, and we appreciate that. And for you guys that aren't in this Arizona area, you can go online, of course, at nutritionwolf.com. Use our code BBB, Big Bad Bodybuilding, for a 20% discount, and we can ship that all over the country. All right. Let's get that. Let's move on to why everybody is here and what we want to talk about. So on our last show, we had mentioned that, I'd mentioned the 2007 Mr. Olympia and how I thought that was one of your best looks. And I think it was one of the more controversial Mr. Olympias of all time. I mean, it wasn't, Arnold 1980 where they, gave him the Sandow on that one. It was obviously a lot closer, but it is a debatable. And we have a fantastic guest on today. We are trying to get Victor Martinez, who was definitely one of those guys who everybody calls an uncrowned Mr. Olympia for that year. But we did get someone just as good, Milos, the Mind Sarcev. Let's bring him in. Milos, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you to talk about the 2007 Mr. Olympia.
Hey, guys.
Milos,
yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Do you guys hear me?
Yes,
Absolutely.
We can hear you. We're ready for you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Come on in.
I've been ready.
We were going to get a full rundown.
I've been listening since the beginning. So, nice to meet you, Zach.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Dennis, on your line of supplements. I hope it's going to work very well.
Thank you.
Everything that you're involved is going to, be turned into the gold. I see the gold labels behind you.
Yeah, we tried.
It's already working.
We got it in there. Milos, I want to start off. So on this year, you did work with Dennis in 2007 for the Olympia, correct?
Yes. Let me first just touch the subject a little bit. As I'm a bodybuilding fan, of course, I watched Dennis Wolf developing. I know the 2005, what he looked like, and when he won the world championship and then turned professional. I was traveling in Santa Susana, I believe. This is the first time I've seen him in a room. You placed 3rd over there, right? So 2006, you've seen the structure, you've seen the shape, like, oh my God. And then he's part Russian, so it's like Slavic culture like me. So, of course, right away, I was a fan. 2007, we started working and we had like New York, Keystone. And we did. I think we did absolutely great. New York, he was 3rd behind the Branch, and then it's James, and then he won Keystone. Going to the Olympia, now you got to understand the prospects. Up until then, Ronnie Coleman was dominating, but it was Jay Cutler knocking on the door 2003 and 2004 and 2005, right? And then finally 2006, Jay won, convincingly, deservingly, and all that stuff. So now we're going to 2007. You say controversial, and I was very, very loud to say that, yeah, it's controversial. I don't think he should have won. But let's analyze everything, right? Dexter Jackson, rightfully Mr. Olympia following year, was there at the top. Victor Martinez, that we mentioned, we all love. I mean, I'm 100% sure, without even asking Dennis Wolf, he respects and loves Victor's physique. Who doesn't? If you're in the bodybuilding, you like this kind of physiques, right? Dennis and Victor are very comparable. V-taper, X-frame, shapely, big, everything is there. So at the time of 2007, I would be, this is it. Hold on a second. Stop right there. So I would be considered biased coach. But I did interviews. There was somewhere in Europe, and I can still find it. When I was, after the prejudging, saying that Dennis Wolf should win the show. He was the widest. He was the sharpest. He was full as a house, separated. I mean, this picture here, just proves my point, right? But I would be always point finger as I'm a biased coach. So don't consider that I was his coach at the time. He was wider with the greatest speed taper than any of the great gentlemen right there. Super full, super conditioned, Maybe not the driest one, but this was the look we needed to get the attention. 2006, he didn't make a mark. 2007, he was slowly coming. He was started to New York, and then he won in a great condition. That Keystone, I think Desmond Miller was second, and Kai Green was third, right? But going into the Olympia, if you would say Dennis Wolf, they were not thinking he can be a factor to fight for the title. He was absolutely a factor. But you know how it is? You have to pay your dues, and they didn't see how far he could go. So now I don't know if you have more pictures from this show.
Oh yeah, we'll throw some more up. And you know, as you mentioned, of course, Ronnie Coleman wasn't even in that particular picture. Who they also placed ahead of Dennis. And you guys that are here that don't know, Dennis actually did wind up in 5th in this show. So to place 5th behind, you know, Ronnie Coleman, that was past his prime. And as Milos is saying, was pretty shocking, I think, to place as low as 5th.
Well, yeah. So let's put it this way, Dennis. I mean, when we were going into the show, right? If somebody would give us top 5 placing, we would take it signed for it before the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. But Dennis was number 1. So he was first one on the stage. And that was that shock factor. Much bigger, much fuller, super symmetrical. I mean, he was a crowd favorite right away. Of course, this is United States, and you know, the American guys are going to be favored by the public. It's just normal. But let me tell you, Dennis Wolf was born here in the United States at the 2007 Olympia. I mean, there is no bodybuilder that would not be your fan, Dennis. Even if somebody would not admit it, it's impossible not to love your physique. What is not to love? The wider than anyone, greatest heat taper, sweeping ties, separations everywhere. You know, when you open those lats, they were all over the place, right? At that time, the comments were, oh, lower lat insertion and some bullshit, you know, like how they would nitpick trying to find something. So this is why you lost, okay? Or, you know, maybe calves, you know, this is why I lost. So really, at the Flex magazine, there was just like that, but pictures of only you and Jay in every mandatory pose. I don't know if you remember. You probably have it saved somewhere.
Absolutely, yes.
But okay, let's be fair. Looking at this picture right now here, if this is the first time all of you guys competed and any expert is watching, how can you lose? What can you possibly lose on? I mean, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I agree.
It's very hard for you, Dennis, to say, yeah, I should have won. And Zach, I don't know how far you go. Was it controversial? Yes, for sure. But I'm going to tell you this. For many shows in subjective sport, there's not only one good pick for a winner. Depends. It could be, you know, if I'm looking at this and I want more symmetry, shape, aesthetics, you know, okay, I lead here. If I want a more size and freakiness, okay, I lead there. 2 days ago in New York, you know, we had that kind of, you know, situation, you know, freak factor or more aesthetic, and they went with the freak factor. But Dennis is very unique in the sense of width, thickness, size, shape, beauty, conditioning, separation. I mean, everything was right there. So I was super proud of your look. Could you possibly win? Absolutely.
Milos, did you guys do a crazy carb load on this one? I know we hear about these crazy carb. This is one of the times that you were just really filled them up. I mean, was that preceded by a pretty extensive, like, you know, low carb and, like, you know, flattening them out, and then you would just mash it for 3 days?
Yes. And interesting. I mean, I talked to Dennis at his grand opening of his gym in the house, right? And then he told me how years later he would do like so much less. Okay, that's without Dennis.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we don't got Dennis in that one.
Yeah. I mean, this is, look, Victor Martinez, V-taper, peaking biceps, hanging triceps, you know, big legs, everything. Dexter is Dexter, right? Beautiful condition, but still considerably smaller, right? So considerably smaller, and it's still open bodybuilding and size rules. And it's not like Jay was off, right? Jay would dominate with this width and size, you know. So I understand, you know, how judges would pick him, but at this time, could Victor get the nod? Yes. Some people think even Dexter. Yeah, you know, depends what you're looking. If you're a bodybuilding purist and you really don't care about size whatsoever and width, and okay, maybe you can give him. But the best combination of everything for me was Dennis. You mentioned about carb loading. I'm going to tell you, I did not know how much I would need to carb up Dennis, you know, with. So that our first show, I'm with him. We're going to New York, and we were already exceeding amount of carbs that I originally planned, right? But you give him, you know, we start on Wednesday, you know, all day, and then Thursday all day, and Friday. There was, I know exactly, there was 3,500 grams of carbs in this 3 days, which you would think it's plenty, right?
Yeah,
but
more than that.
yeah, you could do it more, like, yeah. And it was good. We liked the look, but you know, you could actually see there was more room to push, you know, to stretch that muscle. And you know, with that, when structure is filled, that's crazy. Okay, look at this. Yeah. So, all due respect to Victor. Victor looks great in this pose too. Dexter, by all means. You know. It's apples and oranges. Now you can go. So I don't know what majority of the people looking at this picture is going to go for. Yes, in this particular picture, Victor, it looked like there was maybe a little bit more happening as far as detail, right? But
squeeze it in the right time, like when
at the right time. You know, this is also. So let's just go for Keystone show. I could not go to with Dennis because the same day my wife was competing in California, so we were in touch, and you know, I upped the carbs a little bit, and he wanted the show looking spectacular. And I think you were, you know, dry. If you can pull some pictures from there, it was beautiful. But that was still not good enough for the Olympia. Olympia, it had to be the wow factor. 2006, big Jay beat big Ronnie, right? And big Dennis James and big Branch Warren beat Dennis in New York, right? So we needed that extra exercise. But I was there in Las Vegas, and I'm going to Dennis and eat everything, eat more. Damn. We did 5,000 grams of carbs. I already said this many times, so they're going to say
5,000 grams, not 5,000 calories, 5,000 grams.
5,000 grams, yes. And it was not planned. It was just, okay, I'll see you in 3 hours. And I see him in 3 hours and keep eating. I mean, you know, once you filled the bottle, okay, you can stop. But if it's still leaking and it's, you know, getting down, you can refill it. So anyway, I loved his look. I still think, yeah, maybe there was an argument for Jay to win. I talked to some judges, and they said, Milos, there's still Jay. There was still that width. There was still this roundness. There's still that, you know, yes. But was he absolutely better than Dennis? You can't say that. For me, Dennis was my favorite look, and not because I was coaching him. I swear to God. You know, this is the problem that fans would jump on this. Oh yeah, you have a favoritism, you have bias, because it has nothing to do with it. When I stopped coaching Dennis, he was still my favorite. You know, you think that it changed like 2008 or 2009 or whichever year. It's still that Dennis. I love his shape.
Right. Let me ask you,
Milos. I mean, it's been a crazy time. Then, you know, I remember you were arguing with Albert Buzek. Remember in the room?
Yes.
Like what to do and how to act on stage, you know? I remember Milos was telling me, hey, they're not going to put you next to Jay. So you just go there. Just, you know, next to him. I was telling Milos, man, I can do that. You know, they're going to punish me for that shit. So, you know.
They probably would. Okay, Zach. Yeah. Okay, so picture this. Prejudging, Dennis is more than deserving comparison with Jay, right? It's like, should he be compared with Jay? Absolutely, of course. Could he possibly beat him? Yes, if he was given a chance. So they don't give him a chance, 2007 prejudging. Okay. After prejudging, I went to his room, and Albert Busek, a legendary German promoter, was there. And I know that he was right, but my strategy was, you were number one, and Jay was last. So when they called him right out, I told Dennis, when there's that commotion, because, you know, until everybody gets in a place, I said, just walk there and stand next to Jay Cutler, and audience will go wild. 1,000,000%. Of course, Jim Mannion is going to say, like, it will be pissed off and say, Dennis, go back in line. Of course that would happen, but that doesn't matter. They would see him right there demanding the comparison. So I think it was a great idea, but 100% you would be punished. And Albert Busek did the right thing. You know. But
Dennis, I want to get your take. So if you take yourself out of it, how did you have the top four? Let's say you weren't in the show. Who was your top four after being there, obviously backstage with these guys? And, you know, I'm not going to put you on the spot and say you should have won. I'm just saying, who was your top four outside of yourself?
Look, man, it's hard to judge if you're standing next to the, like that time, you know, I've been a fan, most of these guys, you know, on stage, and judging from the side is impossible. You know, I was planning and wishing for myself, because of the previous year I didn't place top 15. My goal and my wish was to, you know, get into top 10, you know, and Milos knew it. But, you know, we start to understand right after the call-outs right away. So I'm further than just top 10, you know. And I remember the last call-out, the top 6, I wasn't in it. Melvin Anthony was in
I know it.
Right.
You
so,
beat me,
and I was already thinking, okay, so I'm 7th now. Right. So, and then, you know, with talking to Milos and all of that, something woke up in my head, you know. So I kind of started thinking different, you know. So, and I went full in, but, you know, I still didn't do that, you know, walking next to Jay, because that was like, first was Jay, then I don't know, Victor, blah blah blah, and that was the last one. So I couldn't just go on the other side, you know. So I felt like, man, they're gonna punish me and kick me out of top 7 or something like that, you know. So you don't know. I was still like 2 years a professional bodybuilder, so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the you know, the business is all about, how to act, and I was acted like you know, normal, decent man. So that's why I didn't do it.
What about the look itself, though? Where would you rank that? And obviously you went on, you won an Arnold Classic. You placed as high as 3rd at Olympia. Where would you rank that look in 2007 in your all-time looks? Is it up there in the top 5 for you? It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, top 2, of course.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, so I know Milos won't hold back. Milos, I mean, you have Dennis winning the show. What's the rest of your top 5 there?
For me, there was really between him and Victor. Right?
Yeah, it was.
And Jay, when I talked to Jay, right, and he goes like, "Oh, well, you didn't realize that in finals, you know, he was much better. You know, it was touch better, right?" And by the way, as soon as Pose Down started, Dennis walked right next to Jay Cutler.
Then I did it. Then I had the mindset different. So I was walking behind Jay all the time, and remember, maybe there were forums at the time, so when I came back, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days later, it started with, putting Jay as a Red Hood, and I was the Big Bad Wolf. So that was like, I was going behind Jay all the time, So, and then they will play that video back and forward in the forums. So, you're right. That day, that year, I made my name. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's do this. I've got a little game here, and then we're going to take some questions, and they don't have to be specifically about the 2007 Mr. Olympia, but I got a little quiz for you and Dennis Milos, and we'll go back, and I'm not going to be surprised if you don't know all these answers. But we'll start with Milos, and I know Dennis mentioned it a while ago, but and then what we're going to do there, if Milos or Dennis doesn't know the question or the answer, we're going to give our audience here a chance to answer it for a free shaker, okay? For a free Nutrition Wolf shaker.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with Milos. Milos, who was in that first call out of the prejudging? Can you give me the exact names?
Oh, well, it has to be Jay, Ronnie, Dexter, Victor, Melvin.
Okay, that 4 of them were in there, but it is incorrect. Does anybody else here want to guess?
How many people were there? I mean, I don't visualize it now.
No. Okay. All right. Well, we don't have a guess, but no, there was 4. So you named the 4 right off. There was only 4.
So I didn't. Yeah. You see, I expected that there was more. Yeah. Even now, when I'm looking at footage, back then there was no 6 people coming out.
Yeah, it was. Now they brought out 5, I think, at one point, but that first call out was Dexter, Jay, Victor, and Ronnie. Okay, so to be left out of that was pretty. I don't know. After looking at it, it's pretty shocking.
Because I do remember that. You see, Melvin was a player, and Melvin was beautiful physique, and he was in shape, and of course, and he was contender, with the Dennis, of course.
Right. Okay.
So,
but I think I worked my way up.
Yeah.
So I was in the second or third call out, and then
they brought you back in.
Bringing me back, and I knew what's going on already, so I started to understand. But they were doing that. The call outs were just 4 people. I remember the first one.
Right, and then the last call out was, since you kind of named it earlier. Does anybody remember or want to take a guess at who was in the last call out of that one? Is anybody? The microphone's right there if anybody wants to guess. Anybody? No. Milos, do you remember? So in the last one, it was actually more, but they did leave Dennis out of that as well. So
I don't remember that. I do remember very well that I was super bummed. Okay, super happy, but still super bummed, right? Because I know that Dennis could have rated there, easily top 3. And when you're top 3, you can actually win. And magnitude of winning Mr. Olympia. I mean, people don't really realize what it means. And now when we are talking, Dennis is right next to you. He was as high as 3rd at Olympia. He won Honor Classic. And it's unbelievable accomplishments. But still, to have that standout title, you can almost taste it. And very possibly deserved it. But he didn't get it, right? So I was, from that aspect, as a coach, as a friend, as a fan, like, they didn't give him that look. I think the last call out, he was not in the last call out. There was still, again, Jay and Victor, Dexter, Ronnie.
Right. Yeah, Melvin Anthony. They did bring in Melvin on that one. So who Dennis beat in the final. He was right behind Dennis at 6. So yeah, that's interesting. Not to be in the first or the last call out. But I just thought that was really, as I watched it back, I thought it was pretty shocking. Let's go to the next one. Let's throw this one to you, Dennis. I think you'll get it. There were 2 other German bodybuilders in the 2000 in that specific 2007 Mr. Olympia. Who was the highest placing German national other than Dennis, other than yourself? And who was that? And who was the other bodybuilder?
Oh, okay. Günther was not in it anymore.
He was not,
because he was in 2006 Olympia. Was his last
one.
So Marcus Rule and Ronnie Rockel.
Correct. And who placed higher?
I think Marcus.
He did not. No. Marcus. He was the famous tied for 16th. When they just put it on down. But Ronnie actually Raquel. 11th. Yes, very good.
Damn. Yeah,
right.
he was 1 year was I think I was 5th and he was 6th, or I was 6th and he was 7th, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, he got close one day.
Yeah. All right, Milos, let's give you this one. What competitor hailing from Spain placed just outside the top 6, who earlier in the year won the Europa Super Show as both a 210 competitor and an open competitor back-to-back nights?
Well, 2007 Spanish was Silvio Samuel. He was 7th.
That's correct.
Yeah, and I coached him for that show. Right?
Did you for the Olympia and the Europa?
Yeah.
That's you know, they won't allow them to do that anymore, huh? Do both classes? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you see, I think there was the whole 212 division. I mean, open up the chance for those guys. Would Flex Lewis win the Olympia? You know, no, but
right.
Here he made this, you know, huge impact. Some other 212. I really support that 212 division, even though a lot of people are against it. I just wish that they did give a chance, like Arnold and Franco back in the day, Frank Zane and Mike Menzer back in the day. Okay, lightweight winner against heavyweight winner.
Right.
And interestingly, I think there was 4 out of 6 times that lightweight winner won. Like Frank Zane and Franco Colombo. Of course, every time an Arnold was competing, Arnold was winning. But Robbie Robinson or Mike Menzer, they lost the title to Colombo and Frank Zane. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, let's do the last one. I'm going to ask you guys this together. I think between both of you guys, you might be able to name them all. But there were non-competitors that tied for 16th that I'd mentioned earlier. I put in here name 5. I want to see how many you guys can name. All right. We already know Marcus Rule is one of them. 8 other people tied for 16th. You guys start throwing names.
Vince Taylor didn't make it, and he is like one of the favorites.
Correct. Vince Taylor.
There was Paco Bautista. Yeah. He beat Marcus. He beat you at Santa Susana.
Yeah, the year before, yes.
Yeah, there was Eddie Abu. I know him because I coached him the year before. Marcus was there. There was Russian guy Sergey Chelestov.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's 4.
Then there was Quincy Taylor.
Right.
You know Quincy because he was also like
very tall bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I think there's only 3 left. There's 3 left.
I mean, maybe. Okay, yeah, there was a smaller guy, Mark Dugdale.
God dang, yeah. Very good. I think there's 2 that you have a name.
2 more?
2 more. Bigger. I think they were bigger guys. I know one of them was. Anybody in the audience know? I mean, you got to really know your stuff. If you can go back to 2007 Olympia and know who placed 16th. I just thought I'd throw it out there. I think Milos is going to get it.
I'm sure. He's a mastermind.
Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, there was the only time competing. I think it was Wilmore.
Yes, that's one. Bill Wilmore. One more.
Oh shit.
Hey, that's impressive, man.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, I mean, a lot of these dudes did multiple Olympias. They don't know that specific. But oh yeah, 2007. All right.
Wasn't there also another Russian?
No, it wasn't Russian.
No, it was later, right?
Well, I'm impressed. I'll give it to you. It's Marcus Haley. That's the only one you didn't name, I think.
Haley.
And you probably coached him for it.
No, I didn't. I mean, that's probably also the only time he competed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's impressive, man. I figured you'd knock those out. All right. Well, good deal. Let's open it up. Does any of you guys have any questions for either Milos or Dennis? Maybe about the year, about the training, the carb load. Anybody? You got one? Mike's right here. Here it comes.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, you said you did 5,000 grams of carbs. How long did you do that for? Is that like just peak week or the whole prep?
No. It was just the carb loading phase for 3 days.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
I had that plan actually. I can probably pull it out somewhere here. So this is how it was.
Give us the secrets. Give us the secrets.
Wednesday morning, we went super early to train.
Yeah.
So
it was like 6 a.m., 5 or
just
6 a.m. I remember.
Was that just deplete all the glycogen?
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of a crazy load is to super compensate, and you can only super compensate if you're completely empty. If it's not completely emptied, right, then it just goes back normally to that. The alarming surviving mechanism of your body is when you put it in danger. So think about this. Body that doesn't have an energy reserve from a fat because body fat is gone, doesn't have a now energy reserve from carbohydrates also. So there is no energy reserve, no fat, no carbs. It's like freaking out. So anything that you would take, body would like absorb it. That's the concept of super compensation of glycogen. So anything we put back in, it would just be pushed, save. But Dennis had a crazy metabolism anyway, right? So that's how it was. Like up, down, shit. You know, you can never fill him up completely. So I already knew because of New York and the other show, we have to keep pushing. And really, if you look at some pictures from there on his fridge, there was like all these carbs and oats and bananas and dates. And, you know, back then, if you remember, Dennis, we were making those oatmeal banana date cookies.
Yeah, the cookies. Yes. Cookies. They were amazing. They were like 30 grams of carbs, each of them. Yes.
Yeah. I think Katya would make it, right?
Yeah.
And so we put like whatever, 300 grams of carbs there. And then if you put into 10 cookies, that's 30 grams, perfect. And you know how it is normally when you're depleted, and I'm sure, Dennis, you know, you can say this, the first day, you love them. And the second day, like, okay. But the third day,
oh shit!
You don't want any more.
It's not going in anymore. It's like,
could Dennis, out of everybody that you've worked with, Milos, could Dennis take more than anybody you've ever seen as far as that load?
Yes.
Like how compared to like Samson, was he up there like more than Samson?
Oh my God, Samson takes very little. See,
very little.
This is what people would think. Oh, I overcarb him or something like this. If you know the amount of carbs that he took, you would cross yourself. You know, it's much less. And look, so Dennis, you can explain to the audience the thing that you were telling me and Jay at your place, that for whatever other show that you look phenomenal, 2013, I think.
Yeah,
you said
2013.
You did 200 grams of carbs.
Yeah, even less. So I came down. So I depleted my body straight for the show, for the pre-judging, right, on Friday. So I was depleted. On Friday morning, I had a breakfast with, I would say, 100 grams of carbs. That's it. Until the evening, I didn't eat anything. So, and that was, I think, because my body has changed. I mean, they've been 10 years almost, right? So what I was doing before, when I was young, my body was taking everything. But when I was mid-30s, you remember maybe when I went on stage, after one or two comparisons, I started kind of getting worse and worse, right? So, and I wanted to change that. In order to do that, I depleted myself, right, before the pre-judging, and that worked, But of course, if we will do that when I was young, I was 28 at that time, or 29. I mean, I will probably die, right? So yeah, the carb intake or absorption when I was in 2013 or 12 before, was much different than in 2007-8.
Yeah. I was gone at that time. I didn't watch you because I was in Europe from 2011 to 2017.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see you on the stage, but of course I watched the videos, and I was blown away. You were super full and super conditioned, and when you told me that you did this with this much carbs, like,
yeah.
I wish we had that. I mean, I didn't want to put so much carbs.
But you had to because,
yeah.
Like you said before, every 2 meals. You will come to the room and see me. It's like, hey, you didn't eat? I said, no. I was like, you ate everything. So again.
Yeah.
So, and that was going on for 3 days. Yeah.
Hey. Any other questions? We have anything else for Dennis or Milos? Yeah, we got another one.
It's for Milos and Dennis. Was there a specific game plan going into the 2007 Mr. Olympia? And was there anything in mind that you thought Dennis had to work on to bring a certain look?
No, listen. If you listen from the beginning, you know how it is. It's very easy to say, okay, we're just gonna be ripped to the bone, condition, ripped, right? So, what does that mean? Okay, or compromise. Oh, there is a shape, there is a structure with the fullness. We can ease up a little bit on condition, and get the wow factor. And I said this in some other podcast. I don't know what this gentleman's name that asked the question, but that was godfather of bodybuilding, Joe Weider. Joe Weider taught me that lesson. I was ripped dry out of my mind at the 1994 Mr. Olympia. I could not be better conditioned if I tried to. Every fiber upon fiber, dry to the bone, like, oh my God. But to get there, of course, I lost a little bit that fullness. Then I go to Europe, and I didn't place nowhere. I was like 13. Then I go to Europe, and in every European show, Germany, Italy, Spain, England, I was beating Porter Cottrell, who was 5th at Olympia, top 5. And this still doesn't matter much, right? But then I go to Joe Weider, to the photo shoot. And for me right now, I'm like completely not contest ready because, when you eat for a couple of weeks and you're still good, but you don't think, oh, you would step on a stage like this. But Joe Weider himself, he looked at me, Milos, why didn't you look like that at the Mr. Olympia? You would be top 6. And I'm really, I can never forget. I already said that. So people are going to say, oh, here he goes. Old man, keep repeating. But that was awakening for me. Like, okay, first, that's Joe Weider saying it, not anybody else. And then he goes, Milos, come. So I come to he had some desk with the lights, so you can put the, yeah. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Stop the tape. So just to finish this. So he made me look at the Olympia slide, okay, where I was ripped to the pieces, and this Polaroid from the photo shoot right now. And I looked at it, and Polaroid beats that guy any day of the week. And for me, I'm like not in condition. So now let's look at Dennis here. There was no more room to put anywhere.
Which show is this? I've seen this clip several times.
This is Olympia.
This was 2007. This was it.
Yes.
This is Olympia.
Prejudge.
That was maximized. Okay? And now that structure and the wide shoulders, and the V taper, and look at the X frame.
Insane.
Milos, how does this play today? We've got, the Olympia in a few months. I mean, let's say the New York Pro last weekend. How does this play?
Walks away with ease. I mean, that's not even come on.
Yeah, no, I agree, but with the judging and the way they're judging it now, is this
there's no way anybody would touch there's no way anybody would touch. I would go as far as saying he would win Olympia with this look now.
But he didn't. I don't understand. Oh, now. You're saying now.
Different times.
Now, yes.
Different times.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you see, now when he's established, like here, and everybody, we know the size, now you would go for that little bit extra dryness. Okay? But this was the look that needed to attract the attention. That most muscular was making Ronnie Coleman small, if you remember.
That year it was.
And to make Ronnie Coleman small, who would have ever think of?
Almost impossible. Yes. Like I said before, it was the goal to be in the top 10 because I finished, out of top 15 the year before. And then, it went up all the way. You know, for me, it was a huge success. But after I was, you know, looking at the videos, pictures, I started to understand, man, you know, I put myself down a little bit too much, right? So then you really see clearly how far up I already went, you know, like quality wise, and you know, the level is the highest level, you know, being like up there and being comparable to the guys, you know, I've been thankful from.
After going back and looking at the pictures from the 2007, do you personally feel like fifth was a little bit of a slap in the face? I mean, or was it just more of about paying your dues? I mean, you were happy with it. Like you said, you wanted to place top 10. So great, you're fifth. But honestly, though, looking at those, what would you have been happy with after seeing the pictures?
No, like I said, planning, being in top 10, finishing fifth. I mean, huge success for me, right? But after that, as you know, I start to understand that I was way, like pushed way back. You know, what was not giving the opportunity, just, you know, as example, to be compared to Jay.
Yeah, that would have been.
I think it's my opinion. After I was compared to Ronnie, I became dangerous for everyone in the top 3, top 4. You know, so that's what I thought. You know, after watching all of that, you know, but I didn't understand much. You know, I was there, I was competing, and you know, everything was going great. You know, I couldn't believe it for myself that I was, you know, closer, getting in closer to the top 5. You know, which, you know, the goal was not even there. You know.
Milos, you want to wrap us up? You want a last word, the 2007 Mr. Olympia for us?
Yeah, well, listen, again, could Dennis have won? Yeah, absolutely. And I believe that would be a rightful choice. Victor Martinez was great. And yeah, a lot of people saw him winning. And let's keep in mind, Victor Martinez won Arnold Classic earlier that year.
Yeah, that has a lot of weight.
Yeah, that would have been you know, first time that, you know, something like that happened. And, you know, Dexter is Dexter. At that time, nobody really counted, but look, following year, Dexter finally won. We all love Dexter, what he has accomplished. Like, how can you possibly say, oh, well, yeah, you know, Dennis deserved to beat him? Yeah, by bodybuilding standards, he could have very well beat Dexter at that show. Oh, no. You see, this is how fans are looking. Oh, hierarchy, right? Oh, no. If I beat you, I'm better. If you beat me, you are better. By which standards, right? So let's look at the structure of each people, and a shape, okay, and a size, and aesthetics factor, and now conditioning. And when you say conditioning, how much fullness, how much dryness, how much hardness, how much graininess, how much striations, you know, presentation. It's not what you have, it's what you show. Dennis's routine, 2007 Olympia, if you remember, that was state of the art. Every transition, everything was making sense. Choice of poses. I mean, if you can just run that, you know, people would enjoy it. And that's
Milos is always picky with the poses. So if you do in your routine one in the same pose, it's already like you're not professional enough. You remember he was criticizing, I think, Paco Bautista. He was guest posing and doing like 2 poses back to back. I was like, Milos was exploding. I remember that.
Yeah, most muscular.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, but that was the whole thing. I'm sure that Dennis, you relived that Olympia presentation and feeling and everything. And after that, you got self-confidence that you can win the Olympia. I know you did. I know that we had to separate our ways because basically I was, you know, told I can't coach anybody at the time and everything.
Difficult times, man. It was so crazy.
I'll have to hear that story another time, then.
Yeah, I went to Chet Nichols with Dennis. Dennis James, because he was with him, and you know, he pulled me right to there, you know, to Chet. So, and I shouldn't have done that.
Well, yeah, but listen, 2007 Olympia made you believer, right?
Yeah.
Now you knew how good you were, and you see this is how it is. Okay, Zach, I don't know if you had a lot of bodybuilders that you talked to. So every time when we start bodybuilding, we're supposed to believe, okay, we want to win Mr. Olympia. I never even thought of I could actually get to that point. I'm dead serious. So here is a guy that qualified for Olympia 10 times, but I didn't have that delusion, right? Because I know I'm competing with Flex and Sean and Kevin and Nasser and Dorian and, Chris Cormier, Lee Priest, Paul Dillette, right? So I knew that I don't have enough to beat them. But when I've seen Dennis and I was seeing what is happening in front of my eyes, like, holy shit, this guy can go all the way. Yeah. And then at this show, he started believing himself.
Absolutely, yes. I agree with that. I mean, Milo's been always the guy. He's not just a coach, he's a mentor. So, and he sees probably more than the athlete himself can see. So, and yeah, you're totally right. After that, I really start thinking that it's possible, right? So before that, I always wanted to win an Arnold Classic because I thought I'm that good, right? But Olympia is something else, right? So like I always say, I went into the sport as a fan, and then you're standing next to the idols, right? So it was tough, but yeah. After that year, you basically, if it goes really good, you're not thinking straight for a couple of days, maybe a week, and after that, it came to me like, man, I really can do that. So yeah, there was a wake up call.
Yeah, there's a turning point for you, man.
Yeah, I start to understand that I was made for it. Really, well,
good stuff, man. Well, thank you guys for sharing. And thank you guys out here in the audience for sticking around and checking it out. Yeah, give Dennis a hand. Thanks for coming out. If you guys, when y'all talk to Victor, y'all give him some shit, for not. He was supposed to be on. I would have loved to get his perspective. And for me, it was you two guys, man. I mean, I think you and Victor were definitely my one too. And I've been, following the sport. I was watching it live, man. I remember it. So, it's I would have liked to get his perspective, but maybe we can get him on another time. But thank you. And like I say, and Jay's a great champion too, man. That year, I just, it was a lot of good competition.
Jay's an idol for millions.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me as well. I mean, it's his way of making things happen motivate me until today.
well, Zach, also, let's give credit. Imagine 6 times he was second. He was runner-up.
Right.
So imagine if those runner-up places were titles. He would have been all-time best, right? And there's the argument. I mean, even 2001, when nobody expected, right? He could have. So bodybuilding is like this give and take. So I'm going to just close out this. When you see a winner, is this necessarily a winner? No. Sometimes there's 2-3 guys that could have easily won the show. Last Olympia, right? There's a lot of argument. Oh, could Hadi have won? Yes. I thought still Samson could have won.
Yeah, he wasn't that day. Yes.
Yeah. So judges choose for whatever reason that they believe that this is the best look, and unfortunately, it didn't go really Dennis's way. But 2007 was breakthrough Olympia for Dennis, and like I said. Dennis, we would sign for it before the contest, right? Top 5, beautiful. Let's go.
Let's go.
Well, we got the video and the pictures, so man, it's fun to get together with you guys and guys that lived it and were there and to discuss it. So thank you both for your time. Thank you, our audience, and thank you for our host here at Nutrition One. So I've really enjoyed doing this first live, and hopefully we can do many more. And Milos, I'd love to have you on again to talk about some other topics when you have some time.